Okay, so I'm in Arcturus. They dropped me on Arcturus, and I'm like sitting in the meditation position as a Kiyu, as my like higher dimensional Arcturian self. And it feels like it's like raining light codes. So when I do light language, I see it as like actual coding. So it feels like it's like raining light codes. Like it almost feels like snow. Like it feels
Oh,
like I can reach out and touch it.
and when it's like raining those codes, like how do you feel? Like was the emotion that you feel?
I feel so happy. It feels like I'm home.
Oh, and like, is this something that they do like all the time, or is this like a tune-up thing, or like what is their intention with these codes?
So I think they're just showing me like the coding that goes on behind everything. That once we like tune our minds and release the veil, we all have the power to see the actual coding of the matrix.
Is that like when they show like, because I've heard some people like can see the actual, it kind of does look like the movie Matrix, I guess, like where the codes are coming down and it's like that actually exists. That's the construct of our reality.
Yeah, so that's what I always see. It's more kind of like uh it more works horizontally, but I see it more in sacred geometry. So like I recode with sacred geometry, but this time is different. This time it feels like it's like falling from the sky. So I'm just asking like why they're showing it to me this way. So they're just telling me that I've done a lot of like master coding sessions on a lot of other people. And they're just telling me to like not forget about myself, that I can do all of this work. Like sometimes I feel like if I do this coding on myself, I question it, or I'm like, is it just as effective if I like tune myself and work with my chakras myself? Um, so they're just telling me that like it's infinite and I absolutely can use it on myself and to like not forget about myself too. That I always want to help everyone else, but I have to work with myself also.
Right. Right. I think that's a beautiful gift they're giving you. And just want to send gratitude to them right now for giving you that experience. And now that they've shown that to you, do they want to show you something else or explain to you more about why they're showing you this?
So they really want to share the message of the power of our throat chakra. So um one of my divine gifts is light language, and everybody comes in with it comes into this life with their own beautiful divine blueprint, but we all have certain gifts that we bring into this life so that we can help heal people, so that we can be the greatest and highest expression of ourselves. And so they just really want to share the message of the power of the throat chakra. So since we have this beautiful gift, we are able to use the vibration. We are able to be creators with this throat chakra. So we are able to speak truth, and manifest this truth into whatever reality we want. So since we create actual vibration with our voice, it sends out these waves that can manifest into an actual reality. So that's why they're telling me like that's why we have to be so careful with the words that we use when we speak and when we speak to others. That's why we have to speak from a place of love, is because any negative word that we say, any negative, even if we're just like messing with a friend and we call them like a jerk or something not very nice and we don't actually mean it, that is still manifesting into the reality because everything has this vibration. Everything is a wave that is going to manifest into reality. So we just have to have a very clear intention of the way that we speak, because everything is a spell. So when you write out a word, you're spelling, and that is purposeful. For every word that you put together, you are spelling. You are putting out a conscious spell. So just be very aware of the way you speak.
That makes sense, with everything being vibration and energy, like how we put that out. And I have a question based on this, because I have an understanding of like gematria, I believe that's how you say it, is where every letter has a numeric value assigned to it. So essentially, when you spell words, that numeric letter, like, it becomes an equation that then sent out. So essentially, like, a lot of this construct is math, right? Like, is geometry, is math and numbers. But I've heard that English is a dead language. Like, it's not old like Hebrew and my brain's going blank. Like, it's not an old language like Greek or Hebrew. And so Greek or Hebrew had more significant mathematical equations, and that English language is a very dead, where it doesn't have a lot of math to it. So it's not a higher vibration language. Is there any truth to that?
Yes, so the English language, of the newest version of the English language is of a lower vibration, because we've taken a lot of the meaning out of these words, and we continue to like break these words apart. So you hear newer generations like just using like aspects of words, or not using the full word. They keep like fragmenting the language even more, and this cuts them and puts them into a lower vibration. The older dialects that you hear were much more precise and of a higher vibration. The English language that we have now, it can be used in a higher vibrational state, but it is also extremely aware, especially for people that speak this English language, to be very aware of the words that they're using, because the English language has been broken down so much that it's already a lower vibrational language.
Okay. And so if we align like our intention, our heart, our mind with the language, will that make it a higher vibration?
Yes, absolutely. So if you're still speaking from a place of love, then that is going to be a higher vibrational love. So just or a higher vibrational frequency. So if you just tell people, I love you, that is a much higher vibration. So we're just saying to be very consciously aware of the words that you're saying.
Right. And so when we master being able to speak our truth in alignment with our words, is that when it will open up for us to be able to use telepathy?
So they're telling me that telepathy um is more learning to still your mind, and that telepathy will come. So I have done a lot of meditation, and I have worked with my mind a lot, and I speak telepathically to my Arcturian family throughout the day. So I'm always connected to them. So it's not so much like the current language that we're using. It's more being able to be in the state to have that mental conversation where you are able to where you're able to use your discernment of what is the telepathic messages coming in versus your own thoughts.
Okay. Question. Here's a goofy one. Can you lie telepathically? Can you tell non-truths telepathy wise?
Yes, of course. So to all your telepathic abilities do. It is just a mind to mind connection. So you can say whatever you want to say, mind to mind. And people think that, like, when we go into this telepathic civilization, because humans will be telepathic, speaking and having this conversation is actually a very lower dimensional way of communication. We are definitely in, just by speaking and having conversation through speech, we are millions and millions of years behind other civilizations. Everyone else around the galaxy, they speak telepathically. And that's why sometimes when starseeds come here, they have issues where it feels so difficult to put what they want into speech. They really struggle with that because they're used to speaking telepathically, because telepathic vibrations travel faster than the vibrations that you speak with your throat. So we are able to speak, or not speak, but communicate much faster when it's mind to mind. And that's why, like, sometimes, sometimes when I'm speaking telepathically with the Arcturians, they will answer my question like before I even asked it. And it's because they are just ahead of me energetically. Like, sometimes I'll have to be like, can I please ask a question first?
Like you literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. um, but we are, so actually when I do master coding sessions, one thing that every single soul family has asked of me, it's to upgrade somebody else's telepathic abilities, because that is so important. And we are all already telepathic. So you can practice this like with your soul family throughout the day. And you can practice it like if you have if you know who your twin flame is, twin flames absolutely can speak telepathically because they are of the same energetic constant. So that is just a really easy place to start if you want to practice telepathic communication.
Yeah, but some of us have those runner twin flames, so it's really hard to to talk with them. They're fast, man. They like to go.
Yeah, so I mean, just try it out. Just send them messages every now and then.
um, yeah, those of us on the twin flame journey, I think those are all the messages that we talk about. and then you move on. But yeah, so I think that's very interesting. Now I had now that you're talking about coding and everything, during one of my sessions, I had an Arcturian being send me a symbol through the third eye, their third eye to my third eye. And once I received that symbol, it unleashed all this information, which I found phenomenal. Like, what can you tell me about those codes and sending symbols? Like, what can we learn about that?
Yeah, so all of this coding carries a frequency. So this coding can also, when we drop this coding, the way that they show it to me is it's like with frequency, I create this coding and it works as downloads. So when you create a video game, you have to create the coding. You have to download it or upgrade it into the video game, and then people are able to receive these downloads. So we're just using this as like a frequency exchange so that you can receive the downloads that you need to receive so that you can create in the third dimension.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, my girlfriend, she got, I don't know if she got them off of TikTok or wherever, but she got some codes for like their actual physical numbers, that for abundance, for love, for all these things. And she uses them as her passwords and stuff like that to certain things. And I was laughing because I was like, do these creator codes that she's using, do they actually work? And where do we find them? Is it TikTok?
So, so that is an absolute beautiful idea because these numbers carry a certain frequency. So once you learn about numerology and the different frequency that these numbers carry, then this is how you use these numbers to your advantage. So you were talking about gematria earlier, and gematria is incredible to be aware of. But instead of going down like the rabbit hole of gematria, learn how to use gematria in your own life for your power, for your manifestations, for the things that you want to create. Because the powers that be, they use gematria. They're already using this. They've known about this. That is no secret at this point. So that's why like certain things happen on certain days. Certain people's names line up to a certain code. They've been doing this forever. So it is time to step into your power and learn how to make these numbers work for you in your life.
Okay. And does the simple, like say I have a code and my belief is that code represents love or it represents abundance. Even though in a way, geometrically, sacred geometry, that code may not vibrate that exact number, but my belief that it does that overshadow the fact that it's maybe not a sacred number, but my belief is actually just setting that vibration into the world? That's what I want. Does belief play a huge part in this or not?
Yes. So all is mind. So if you look at all is mind, then thoughts is what creates your entire reality. So we can use these different numbers to help bring in the frequencies that we want to work with. But at the end of the day, you still have to hold that belief of what that frequency does. So you could absolutely, let's say that you have like a coding structure, you're just playing around with it, you have no idea what it is, but you just decide that it's going to vibrate at that frequency of love. You are living from your own perspective. Your belief is all that matters in this entire world because you are just source having an experience. So your thought, that thought projection is what is going to create that love. So in this instance, it's not so much like the frequency of those numbers, it's absolutely the power and the belief that you're giving those numbers. But you can also, on the other hand, use like, it's almost like a cheat code in the video game. So like once you really understand these numbers, then you can start to, they're just showing me, it's like I'm moving fast, but when I incorporate these numbers and what they represent, it's like they're catapulting me. Like it's just a way to help the acceleration of your consciousness, especially in this reality, because sometimes it feels like we just move so slow in this reality.
Right. And that kind of goes along with what they told us earlier about the linear timeline experience is like, does the cheat code speed up time for that linear code or
Yeah.
that linear time? Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Right. Because there is still value to the actual sacred geometry. And that's kind of like the cheat code. But if you are kind of trying to get there before you figure out what the cheat code is, you attune to what you believe in. Like if one for me is unity, but the number one for you is unconditional love, like they're both true because they're true for us
Yeah,
at that moment.
exactly. They're both true because each person, technically, there is no such thing as truth or the truth. Um, we as one individual, we just hold an aspect of our truth. So together, each person's perspective in this entire matrix is just one aspect of the truth. It's not the whole truth.
Perfect. That makes so much sense. So one fun question that you're in Arcturus, are you there on the actual planet right now, or is there another place that they're residing?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. What do Arcturians like to do for fun?
Let's see. I feel like Arcturians definitely love to work. Like they, from a young age, they are, even like the schooling that they go through when they're young, it's almost like they're molded. It's like they find a spirit and they mold them into whatever kind of like gift or healing position that they're gonna hold. But I do see that like they have families and they enjoy just each other's company really well. Um, there is water on Arcturus, so I have memories of like swimming in water, and I really enjoyed being in the water. Um, I love, I don't know, I feel like Arcturians just like love working, and um, they love like stargazing and just being in the universe, and they are very passionate about like raising consciousness. So when it comes to fun, I feel like their work is fun to them. Like they're not really showing me so much like so yeah, so they're just showing me that like they definitely love to play. So like when I first met my Arcturian self, she would just come to me in like the funniest ways. And to them, like being guides that are very powerful but playful at the same time is like what they're passionate about or how they play. And it's so funny because like Jesus is really like that too. Like Jesus is so playful and it is so funny.
That's awesome. Well, Ellen, did Jesus get his healing? Because we had learned previously about Arcturians are a lot about the healing modalities. Did Jesus attune like to the frequency of the Arcturians to be able to use his healing abilities, or is he Arcturian? Or has he
Jesus is
spent it?
Pleiadian,
Okay.
or at least he resonates the most with the Pleiades.
Uh-huh.
When I see Jesus, I see him like it's like he came directly from source. That's why he's able to, I guess you could call him as like a walk-in from source, where he's just able to like really ground that energy wherever he reincarnates. But he definitely has just like that Pleiadian loving energy. So I don't know if he like first incarnated on the Pleiades or if he just became a ascended master by working through the Pleiades star system. But he absolutely has like just that beautiful light of the Pleiades within him.
That makes sense that he came straight from source because he'd be able to tune to those frequencies of source that much easier. Um, are there any messages that the Arcturians have for us at this time?
So they are saying that if you feel called to just try and practice speaking your truth. And when we say speak your truth, we mean light language. So light language is so important at this time. And you're seeing so many more healers speak light language because the English language is a lower vibrational language. Um, so there is so much beautiful healing that can happen with light language because you are able to lift the frequencies of everyone around you using the frequency and the vibration created from your own being. So, and there is so much that you can do with your voice when it comes to healing. You can heal yourself. You can tune yourself to whatever higher frequency you want. You can clear your chakras. You can, it is really, since you are creating frequency with your voice, you can use this to create your entire reality. So just good ways to try to start channeling your truth. We do consider light language your highest truth because it comes from either source directly or from your higher self directly. So, good ways to start practicing this is just go into meditation. And you can either start like chanting, you could even just start saying like and just sit in that position and just be for like 5 minutes a day, just to feel the vibrations of your own voice. And then as you work with this, you can practice like vowel consonants. So just sit there in a space of like A, E, I, O, U, and just practice the different sounds that your voice can make. And then from there, just play with it, just feel in the flow. So when Ceirra does this, she moves her hands, she just feels the divine flow within her. And we just really encourage you to even try this, even if it feels funny in the beginning, just because this is the highest level of truth. And this is how you can heal others using your voice. And it is so beautiful.
I love that. I'm going to have to start practicing that. Because if my children don't think I'm crazy enough, I'm going to add noises. I love it though. Let them think it, right? Like, let them keep guessing about me.
I'll do a light language activation on you.
Oh yeah, that would be great. I'd love that. I'd love it for sure. Well, we ask that for our future sessions that people are guided to that you help assist guiding the questions that you want us to bring forth to humanity. And we also like hope that you guys prompt us with understanding like the questions we should ask for the future understandings, because we really want to be guided for the best of humanity and to have fun with all of this. So while I had you on the line, caller was on the line, I wanted to ask that you just help assist with that if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. We're always so happy to help.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you want us to explore before we end this transmission?
No, that is it for today.
Thank you guys. We love you so much. Welcome back, my friend. How'd they make you feel? How are those codes feeling to you?
That was fun.
Yeah.
It just feels like, I don't know, it feels like my truth. You know what I mean? Like it's like the most love I've felt ever, every time I do it.
Yeah, I know when you were getting those codes, I could feel you wanted to hug them. You were like, kind of like moving
No.
around, like just a little bit more, please. Like, yeah, you were like, just don't stop.
Yeah, that's how it feels every time. It's so funny.
But I think it's important that they remind you that yes, like we have to take care of self, right? Like this is a journey. We want to help others, but like you have to first of all help yourself so you can help others. That's why like shadow work and going to those deep dark places within ourselves are so important, especially if you want to help facilitate healing, because you can't do it if you're still stuck in those depths, you know. You need to
Yeah,
clear that.
definitely.
What do I have behind me? Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. The speaking the truth to create your reality. I loved how that just they really had a message there that we both were able like that continued on about spelling and gematria and the frequency of your truth. And I found it interesting that you can actually lie in telepathy. Like, can they read your mind and know you're lying? You know what I mean?
I know, right?
Oh, I've dated some of those people. They were just a lesson, but now
That's
I
pretty
know.
funny.